can that man in the box. That's it.
The amount of aggregates in this building right now.
Oh, it's quite exciting, isn't it? Oh, right.
Good evening, everyone. It works. Hello, welcome to Reading University Students' Union, the leadership elections results. I'm Oscar Minto, the Education Officer and Chair of the Elections Committee. Thank you very much. The one clap. I'm joined with Poppy Lindsay, who's the Welfare Officer as well. We'll be your host for tonight. So, yes, tonight we're going to be announcing our undergraduate senior rep positions, the student trustee positions, our 6 part-time officer positions, and our 5 full-time officer positions. Firstly, I wanted to congratulate every single candidate for their hard work and effort during this sort of wonderful week of campaigning, and also the weeks that we're building up to it, and all of the effort you put in your manifestos and your posters, and yes, so yeah. Poppy?
So this year we had 75 candidates taking part in the elections, some across multiple roles. So is this working? 11,591 votes were cast by students over 4 days with a 1,900 voter turnout. So we've seen some really engaging campaigns, and we feel that all candidates have highlighted their worthiness of being part of the Students' Union leadership team. Please can we all give a huge round of applause for all the candidates taking part this year.
Yeah.
This one, is it on?
There.
Okay. We also want to thank the efforts of our staff team for their hard work over the nominations and voting period, especially Oscar, who has been incredible. So can we give them a round of applause?
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, it should be. Hello. This year, we're announcing so the results of each election. We put together some special awards like last year, and we also have some other fun and interesting things that we're going to do, which include mocktails and cocktails for the tables you're on. You each have a number. If you've moved them around, you've mucked up the night already. But you each have a number, and basically we're going to spin this wonderful wheel that has numbers on it, and I'm going to give you a voucher that's going to give you free alcohol or free non-alcohol, dependent on what you desire. So yes, Poppy?
So it's great to see most of our candidates are with us here in the room this evening, along with RUSU staff, students and campaign teams. Thank you for joining us at this evening's results night, and a very big welcome to anyone joining us on the live stream. We hope that tonight has a sense of celebration. Whilst we're here to give our congratulations to those who are successful in the election, we also want to celebrate everyone's amazing work over the last couple of weeks. Regardless of the result, I hope you all feel proud of what you have achieved and are able to reflect on the experience positively. We would also appreciate this evening could be causing our candidates some nerves, and we would like to ask the campaign teams to show support for everyone with lots of cheering and clapping. We want to remind our candidates that the Wellbeing Hub is reserved for them in Upper 360, just up there, should you need some space to take some time out to collect your thoughts after results have been announced. But we wish all of our candidates the very best of luck.
Perfect. So, the running order for tonight. Coming up first is our undergraduate senior rep and student trustee results. Jamie will be announcing these wonderful results, so he's on stage with us. We'll then have a short break. Then we'll announce the winner for the part-time positions or part-time officer positions. These will be announced in the following order. So our postgraduate research students officer, our LGBTQ+ students officer, our women's officer, our black students officer, disabled students officer, and minority ethnic student officer. We also wanted to note that we do not have, or we had no candidates for the trans student officer position, and as a result, we want to recognise it's quite important that that role is kind of filled. So we're going to branch that open to either our summer term elections or our autumn term elections next year with some of the other part-time office positions. We'll have short breaks in between, periods of socialisation, and then we have our winners of the full-time officer positions, which will be announced in the following order: inclusion and communities, welfare, education, activities and opportunities officer, and president. And we'd anticipate the event will finish between 9 and 10 p.m. roughly. So yes. So please note, bars still open. We still serve food. The kitchen will be open until 8 p.m., but the last food orders are 7:30 p.m. Joining us later on stage to help us with the results are our fellow members. Well, actually, Jamie's already on stage. So we have Jamie Robertson, he's the student voice, a representation and entertainment manager. And we have Annie Wilmot, who's RUSU's head of digital communications and fun. So Annie and Jamie, Poppy and myself will then announce the winners and provide the counts for the part-time officer and full-time officer elections. Our digital and comms team are on hand, wherever they may be, to do stuff, to get things online quickly as possible. We'll announce the winners first. First, we will announce which role we're announcing and the result, and state how many candidates took part in the election. We'll then announce each candidate. For undergraduate, senior reps, student trustee roles, we'll not read out the full count, but we'll announce the result by giving the name of the successful candidate. For part-time officer and full-time officer roles, we'll announce the count and give the names for the successful elected candidates. We'll announce the count for any uncontested roles to explain what uncontested means, and we will provide a full breakdown of votes for the part-time officer and full-time officer roles. Full breakdown of the votes for all roles will be published online at rusu.co.uk/elections from 12 noon on Monday. There might be a bit before, actually. Roles and names of successful candidates will also be posted on social media and throughout tonight's event. Winners of part-time officer and full-time officer roles will be invited onto stage to receive their certificate. That is behind me. I'm invited to say a few words as well, if they wish to do so. But first are our rather interesting special awards. So we have 5 fun awards for various candidates who are campaigning this year. So our first one goes to the best campaign outfit. This goes to Shania Dyer for dressing up as a cow at uni on Wednesday. I'm unsure of the relevance, but it was cool. Shania, if you want to come up onto stage, if you're here. If you're not here, I will. Oh, you are here. Come on stage. Yeah. Perfect. We'll do pictures if you want. Weird placement of steps. There we go. Very well done. Thank you very much. Perfect. And your next award.
Okay, so the next award is for the best baker, and this goes to Taylor Boyd. She baked some cakes with her election budget, and I've heard they were both great and vegan, so come up and collect your award.
Perfect. So, first up is our undergraduate senior rep results, I believe. Let me just make sure that we're not going to take a break. Oh, and I meant to spin the wheel as well. So I'm going to do that, and let's hope it's you. So, table 2, you get cocktail pitchers or mocktail pitchers. If you want to come and collect them in the break, that would be amazing. And we'll give you those vouchers. Go from there. So, Jamie, come forth.
Your time to shine.
Oh, that's the worst.
Fine, they put the music on.
Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Woo! Okay, then. So, the results for undergraduate senior rep. First of all, the School of Agriculture, Policy and Development. There were 2 candidates in this election for 2 positions, Sansar Tanjizes and Alakan Jessa. I am pleased to announce that both Sanzar Tanjizef and Alakan Jessa are duly elected the Agriculture Policy and Development Senior Reps for 2023-24. Now we move on to the School of Archaeology. I'm just going to turn my chair off to avert a disaster. We move on to the School of Archaeology, Geography and Environmental Sciences. There were no candidates in this election for 2 available positions. We will therefore be holding a by-election for these roles. Pause for applause. Next, the School of Art, Communication and Design. There were 2 candidates in this election for 2 positions, Abigail Thomas and Olga Tuzova. I am pleased to announce that Abigail Thomas and Olga Tuzova are duly elected the Art and Communication Design Senior Reps for 2023-2024. That's more like it. It's really scary up here, guys. Right. Moving on to the School of Biological Sciences. There were 6 candidates in this election for 2 positions. Ramandeep Nijar, Thanvi Budaraju, Manshay Shofambarara, Gia Enrique, Sophie Houtemans, and Davina Childi Emmanuel. I am pleased to announce that Randeep Nijar and Gia Enrique are duly elected the Biological Sciences Senior Reps for 2023-24. Okay, now for the School of Built Environment. There was 1 candidate in this election for 2 positions, Harry Hand. I am pleased to announce that Harry Hand is duly elected as the Built Environment Senior Rep for 2023-24. We will, of course, hold a by-election for the unfilled role. Now moving on to the School of Chemistry, Food and Pharmacy. There were 2 candidates for this election for 2 positions. Maharit Sanjaraf Yasir Arafat and Karima Chowdhury Ali. I am pleased to announce that Mohammed Sanjaraf Yasir Arafat and Kamara Chowdhury Ali are duly elected Chemistry, Food and Pharmacy Senior Reps for 2023-24. Now moving on to the Henley Business School. There were 2 candidates in this election for 4 positions. The candidates were Thomas Hudson and Preya Tovey. I am pleased to announce that Thomas Hudson and Preya Tovey are duly elected Henley Business School Senior Reps for 2024. Now moving on to the School of Humanities. There were 3 candidates in this election for 2 positions, Leah Logan, Maya Bangshoff, Naheb Fuchs-Harar. I am pleased to announce that Leah Logan and Nahib Fuchs-Harar are duly elected Humanities Senior Reps for 2023-24. Now moving on to the Institute of Education. There was 1 candidate for the election of 2 positions in this role, Charlotte Hardy. I am pleased to announce that Charlotte Hardy is duly elected as the Institute for Education Senior Rep for 2023-24. And you guessed it, we will, of course, be holding a by-election for the unfilled role. There were 9 candidates in the election for 2 positions in the School of Law. Jane Okahu, Sumitra Pamasaram, Marilla Dene Patisiladu, Linda Alsik, Andrea Adamakova, Parsa Jalai, Amora Evans, Martina Huston, and Josme Saji. I am pleased to announce that Jane Okahu and Marilla Dene Pazadalu are duly elected Law Senior Reps for 2023-24.
Would you like me to take them? Is that easier?
Yeah, that's fine, mate. Now we move to the School of Literature and Languages. There were 2 candidates in this election for 2 positions, Anna MacDonald and Jacoda Kent. I am pleased to announce that Anna MacDonald and Jacoda Kent are duly elected as the Literature and Languages Senior Reps for 2023-24. Now we move to the School of Mathematical, Physical and Computational Sciences. There were 4 candidates in this election for 2 positions, Akash Kumar, Jaden Scarpa, Eddie McDonough, Mohammed Abbas Khan. I am pleased to announce that Akash Kumar and Eddie McDonough are duly elected the Mathematical and Physical Computational Sciences Senior Reps for 2023-24. Moving on to the School of Politics, Economics and International Relations. There were 3 candidates in this election for 2 positions, Leighton Monty, Amy Bullen and Drew Taylor. I am pleased to announce that Amy Bullen and Drew Taylor are duly elected as the Politics, Economic and International Relations Senior Reps for 2024. Just adding to the suspense while I get my papers ready. We're now moving on. Oh, and my thing's fallen off. We're now moving on to the School of Psychology and Clinical Language Sciences. There were 3 candidates in this election for 2 positions. Janet Sanchez-Urabi and Esther Soroy, Eleanor South, and I'm pleased to announce that Esther Soroy and Eleanor South are duly elected as the Psychology and Clinical Language Sciences Senior Reps for 2023-24. We will now announce the results for the role of Student Trustee. For this role, and the following part-time officer role and full-time officer role, in each election, we included the option for the electorate to reopen the nominations, also known as RON. Okay. There were 4 candidates in the election for student trustee positions, and these were as follows. Jess Sams, Leighton Monty, Tanvi Budaraju, and Sophie Hootemans. And I am pleased to announce that Jeff Sams and Leighton Monty are duly elected student trustee for 2023-24. Thank you very much, everybody.
So you're on the fun award. You wanna go for it?
I'm just going to go back. Apologies, the chair moves slow at this height. So I'm just going to make my leave now.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very well. Very well. Very well. Yeah, you can read off this one if you want. Oh,
Are we not in the short break?
if you do oh, there's a 15-minute break.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, we're now going to have a 15-minute short break so you can get your drinks and socialise, but just before we're going to do another 2 fun awards and another spin. So, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so for our 3rd fun award, we want to give the Most Professional Campaign Banner Award to Gabe James for their superb banner. Could you please come up and collect your award?
we've got a 4th award as well. Yes, so for our next award, we wanted to give the most efficient campaign banner award to Joshua Dearden. What a campaign banner it was. I must say it got right to the point and certainly was the most memorable. Please, could you come along and collect your award, Joshua? It was the one I remembered the most.
Oh yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Thank you very much.
Perfect. Okay, so now a quick spin. You can't have the same table win twice, unfortunately. So, but here we go. Oh, they've won twice, but they can't. Right, once more. Okay, there we go. So, table 12, I'm going to bring you your vouchers. I'll bring your vouchers as table 2. We've got a 15-minute break. Enjoy.
Just Shiv.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
And Ron.
Perfect. Which one works? This one. I
No,
suppose.
he just, no, this one's on.
Oh, yeah, he just fixed it, didn't he? Go.
I think it's muted at the moment.
Okay.
Hello.
There you go.
That works. Welcome back. We're going to start announcing the part-time officer results. And before that, we'd also like to welcome Annie to the stage. Round of applause for Annie. Perfect. Okay, so first role is the postgraduate research students officer role. There were two candidates for this election. There was somebody named Shiv and somebody named Roll on nominations, so Run. I'm going to hand over to Annie to announce this result.
Yeah, go for it.
Just a reminder that for all part-time officer and full-time officer roles, each election included the option for the electorate to vote to reopen the nominations, also known as RON. So for this role, there are 23 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 11.50 votes. There was one round in this election. In the first round, the votes were as follows. Shiv received 13 votes, Ron received 10 votes. Shiv exceeded the quota and is therefore duly elected as the Postgraduate Research Students Officer for 2023-24.
We would like to invite the winners to come up and collect their certificates if they wish to, and also if they want to make a speech. Shiv, are you present?
Is Shiv here?
No?
Okay.
Oh, well. Okay, Poppy.
Okay, so we are now going to announce the winner for LGBTQ plus student officer. So there were two candidates in this election. There was Olga Tusova and reopen nominations. So I'll now hand over to Annie to announce the results.
There are 284 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 142 votes. There was one round in this election. And in the first round, the votes were as follows. Olga received 269 votes and Ron received 15 votes. So Olga exceeded the quota and therefore is duly elected as LGBTQ plus students officer for 2023-24.
Okay. Okay, so the next position is women's officer. There were three candidates for selection. We have Jos Misaji, Veronica Knoma, and Ron. So, Annie?
There are 666 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 333 votes. There was one round in this election, and in the first round, the votes were as follows. Veronica received 416 votes. Josmi received 232 votes, and Ron received 18 votes. Veronica exceeded the quota and is therefore duly elected as the Women's Officer for 2023-24.
Okay.
Is this working?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, so the Black Students Officer. So there were three candidates in this election. Solomon Amber, Esther Saroy, and reopen nominations. So Annie?
There are 228 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 114 votes. There was one round in this election. In the first round, the votes were as follows. Esther received 139 votes, Solomon received 81 votes, and Ron received 8 votes. So Esther exceeded the quota and is therefore duly elected as the Black Students Officer for 2023-24.
There are four. Oh, yeah. Is Esther here? No. Okay. No PTO, shall I? Yeah? Oh, do we have Esther? Oh, yeah, come on. Yeah.
Would you like to hand the Black Students Officer? Sorry, Esther, don't worry. It's welcome.
Yes.
Go for it.
They're going to take a picture now. Should we both be in it?
Yeah, sure thing. Let's do that one. Okay. Well done, Esther.
So, next we have our Disabled Students Officer, and there are 4 candidates in this election. We've got Davina Nagel, Sanzar Tangashev, Sophie Flecknell, and Ron. Going to hand over to Annie.
There are 127 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 63.5 votes. There was 1 round in this election, and in the first round, the votes were as follows. Sophie received 99 votes, Davina received 19 votes, Sanzar received 3 votes, and Ron received 6 votes. So Sophie exceeded the quota and is therefore duly elected as Disabled Students Officer for 2023 to 24. Sophie is here.
You've got a long... I'm really scared. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so moving on to the Minority Ethnic Students Officer. So there were 7 candidates in this election. Jean Enriquez, Mohammed Abbas Khan, Sharmitra Panoramana Swaran, Gayatri, Ali Khan Jessa, sorry, Aliyah Kaur, and reopen nominations.
There are 252 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 126 votes. At the first stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Ron, who received 5 votes, was excluded. We then redistributed any transferable votes. In the second stage, the votes were as follows. Ali Khan received 34 votes. Aliyah received 50 votes. Sayamitra received 55 votes. Mohammed received 17 votes. Gaia received 54 votes, and Gayatri received 37 votes. It is close. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Mohammed was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the third stage, the votes were as follows. Ali Khan received 34 votes. Aliyah received 51 votes. Sayamitra received 57 votes. Gia received 54 votes, and Gayatri received 38 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Ali Khan was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fourth stage, the votes were as follows. Aliyah received 54 votes. Sayamitra received 58 votes. Gia received 56 votes, and Gayatri received 38 votes. At this stage, again, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Gayatri was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fifth stage, the votes were as follows. Aliyah received 58 votes. Sayamitra received 59 votes. Gia received 58 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Aliyah and Gia were both excluded, and therefore Sayamitra received the highest number of votes and is duly elected as Minority Ethnic Students Officer for 2023-24.
We've got an award, yes, but yeah, we get a break. Okay. Are we done? Perfect. Well, I think that was 1 vote that won that one. So very well done. So congratulations to all the part-time officers that have been elected. It was thoroughly deserved, and that was a hell of an election, the last one. Just before we let you go to celebrate and have more drinks, we've got one last special award for tonight. And this award is for the most widely translated manifesto, which goes to Edward Gregory. This candidate went above and beyond, reaching out to our international students, wherever the hell he is. And whilst I have no clue what he's saying, the effort showed for our Greek students, Arabic-speaking students, Spanish students, and maybe Italian students. I don't really know. Ed, wherever you are, please come up. If he can come up later. If not, we're going to spin the wheel. 10. Who's 10? Oh, perfect. Well done. Perfect. Or is it that? Is it them? Oh, it's you guys. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Then, yeah, have a 15-minute break. We'll be back with the full-time officer results.
Should you head at the start of the next one?
Yes, we should do. Wherever he is.
It's only 8 o'clock.
Go to the toilet.
That man is always on the toilet.
There we go. Perfect. Hello, everyone. That was a bit longer than expected, but welcome. We're going to talk about the full-time officer roles now, but just before then, I have a little bit about the single transferable voting process. So we use single transferable voting in our elections. This means that candidates are selected by a choice-ranked ballot, and as candidates are eliminated, where people have selected a second preference or additional preference vote, that vote is transferred to their next choice. So that's how that works. Before we start as well, we're going to spin the wheel, and you can get your vouchers at the end as well. So. 8. Perfect. Right, so first up, we've got inclusion in communities, which goes to Poppy.
Goes to me. The Inclusion Communities Officer takes a lead on projects within RUSU that promote diversity and inclusion, whilst also working to maintain a sense of community belonging on campus and beyond. They will also work alongside RUSU's part-time officers to ensure all students are represented throughout their time at Reading. There were 3 candidates in this election: Jem McKenzie, Gabe James, and reopened nominations. Oh.
There are 1,267 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 633.5 votes. There was 1 round in this election. In the first round, the votes were as follows. Gabe James received 407 votes. Jem McKenzie received 800 votes. And Ron received 60 votes. Jem exceeded the quota and is therefore duly elected as Inclusion and Communities Officer for 2023-24.
Give them a speech, so if you want speech, don't
Should I give her a
Yeah, go for it, and I will.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
You can do a speech.
Would you like to give a
Should
speech?
we do the picture first?
Yeah, let's do the picture first.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Well, this is
Well done.
perfect. Right. Now for a speech.
Hi. Thanks. I don't know what to say. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually like a bit shocked. But the first thing I wanted to say is like thank you so much to all my friends who supported me this week. As some people didn't know, there was a lot going on for me, and it's been a roller coaster of 7 months so far in the role. And just the thought of doing another 12 months brings me so much happiness, but also like fear, because I want to keep doing more for students, and that hunger and that desire will always be there. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who voted for me, and thank you to Gabe, who was such a good candidate, and honestly, I look forward to still working with you the next few months, the next year, hopefully. You did a fab job, but yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you to all the staff as well, and my mentor, Jamie, who was my emotional support throughout the week. But yeah, thank you everyone.
We're doing all the FTOs, so there's no breaks between these ones. So I'm going to announce the education officer, i.e. my replacement. The education officer works to ensure your best interests are being represented in teaching and learning across the university. They aim to improve the academic experience, strengthen working relationships with university staff, and RUSU's academic reps. It's a policy-based role, very heavy, but you also get to do things like this, which is quite fun. So, there are 6 candidates in this election. We have Sophie Jordan, Milan Evans, Amolika Roy, Femi Royal, and Valentina Solovai, and Ron. But yeah, I'm going to pass over to Annie to announce that.
There are 1,200 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 600 votes. At the first stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Ron, who received 30 votes, was excluded. We then redistributed any transferable votes. In the second stage, the votes were as follows. Sophie received 418 votes. Milan received 191 votes. Valentina received 315 votes. Amalika received 205 votes. And Femi received 41 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Femi was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the third stage, the votes were as follows. Sophie received 418 votes. Milan received 192 votes. Valentina received 317 votes. Amalika received 208 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Milan was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fourth stage, the votes were as follows. Sophie received 432 votes. Valentina received 329 votes. Amalika received 218 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Amalika was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fifth and final stage, the votes were as follows. Sophie received 442 votes, and Valentina received 354 votes. At this stage, Sophie received the highest number of votes and is duly elected as Education Officer for 2023-24.
Go for it.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional right now. It's been a very good week. It's been a very tiring week. I've worked really hard. I just want to say thank you to the other candidates. You've all been amazing. It's been amazing to get to know you all, especially the other education candidates. And I want to say thank you to my campaign team. You've been amazing helping me, especially Molly. You've been by my side throughout the whole thing, and I can't thank you enough. And I can't wait to work with students to create positive change within the education here at Reading University. And I just want to say thank you to absolutely everyone. You've all been amazing, so thank you.
I'll wait for it to sit down. Okay, so I'm the current welfare officer, so I'm going to announce the candidates for this election. The welfare officer is responsible for developing and managing welfare initiatives and campaigns at RUSU. They also work to support and promote the RUSU Advice Service and oversee our housing initiatives. So there were 6 candidates in this election: Isha Sujau, Sam, Onyenechi Wabodo, Richard Stevenson, Mahika Barathan, and Ron. I will now hand over to Annie.
Yes. There are 1,213 valid votes in this election. This means the quota for election is 606.5 votes. At the first stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Ron, who received 30 votes, was excluded. We then redistributed any transferable votes. In the second stage, the votes were as follows. Sam received 47 votes. Mahika received 127 votes. Oninechi received 209 votes. Richard received 386 votes. And Aisha received 417 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Sam was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the third stage, the votes were as follows. Mahika received 128 votes. Oninechi received 213 votes. Richard received 388 votes, and Aisha received 419 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Mahika was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fourth stage, the votes were as follows. Oni Nechi received 218 votes, Richard received 396 votes, and Aisha received 424 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Oni Nechi was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fifth and final round, the votes were as follows. Richard received 411 votes, and Aisha received 445 votes. At this stage, Aisha received the highest number of votes and is duly elected as Welfare Officer for 2023 to 24. Do you want to?
Okay. Hi guys. I don't really have a lot to say, but thank you to my campaign team, Ryan, Angel, Sheila. You have been so helpful, and all my supporters as well. And I promise to give my being for your well-being next year, or even starting from July, I think. But yeah, thank you.
So we're technically 3 candidates down. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and so is everyone else. So wait around for activities in 5 minutes. Yes, okay. Hello everyone. We're now back and we're going to announce the Activities and Opportunities Full-Time Officer position. This is a position responsible for overseeing the development of all RUSU, sports clubs and societies, volunteering schemes, RAG and student media. The Activities and Opportunities Officer will work alongside key staff in RUSU and the university to provide and promote development opportunities for students at the University of Reading. So, with that in mind, we have 7 candidates for this election. We have Shania Dyer. Yep. Matthew Harris. Erica Soakufo. Beth Marquesif Gunther. Sam Newman. Jadav Gupta. And roll-on nominations. I will now hand over to Annie to announce who's going to win.
There are 1,220 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 610 votes. At the first stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Erica, who received 19 votes, Jadav, who received 28 votes, and Ron, who received 30 votes, were all excluded. We then redistributed any transferable votes. In the second stage, the votes were as follows. Sam received 154 votes. Matthew received 317 votes. Shania received 346 votes. And Beth received 337 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Sam was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the third stage, and it gets even closer now, the votes were as follows. Matthew received 328 votes. Shania received 361 votes, and Beth received 346 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Matthew was excluded, and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fourth and final stage, the votes were as follows. Shania received 390 votes, and Beth received 370 votes. And therefore, Shania received the highest number of votes and is duly elected as Activities and Opportunities Officer 2023 to 24.
Oh my gosh. Thank you everyone who voted for me. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I had to take a shot before I came up here because I was so nervous. It's been a tough week. I want to thank my boyfriend, Jags, for helping me with the campaign. I want to thank everyone who came up to me and supported me and gave me advice. I'm really passionate about this uni. I'm really passionate about societies, and I'm so glad it came through in my campaign. Thank you so much.
We're now just before going to take another 5-minute suspense break, but I'm going to do the bloody reel. And it's table 1, which is the previous officers. So there we go. 5 minutes, then you get to talk about the president. Oh, not, or not.
Hello? Hello. We're here. Okay.
Hello?
So we are now going to announce the new president of the Students' Union. So as team leader, the president is responsible for coordinating the delivery of the full-time officer team priorities. They ensure all RUSU decisions follow the democratic process within the Constitution and oversee RUSU's democratic initiatives, including the Student Council. Other aspects of the remit include leading on external affairs, sustainability, commercial services, and links between campuses. There were 10 candidates in this election. Charlie Dennis, Anthava Haldankar, Yash Katari, Hansla Wasim, Anush Venkataraman, Edward Gregory, Sheldon Allen, Josh Dearden, Taylor Boyd, and Ron. I will now hand over to Annie to announce results.
There are 1,543 valid votes in this election. This means that the quota for election is 771.5 votes. Charlie Dennis has withdrawn as a candidate in this election and was removed before the count. At the first stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Anush, who received 19 votes, Ron, who received 26 votes, Hansla, who received 32 votes, and Athava, who received 49 votes, were all excluded. We then redistributed any transferable votes. In the second stage, the votes were as follows. Taylor received 306 votes. Yash received 92 votes. Sheldon received 300 votes. Edward received 495 votes. Josh received 237 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Yash was excluded and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the third stage, the votes were as follows. Taylor received 307 votes. Sheldon received 301 votes. Edward received 501 votes. Josh received 238 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Josh was excluded and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fourth stage, the votes were as follows. Taylor received 328 votes. Sheldon received 310 votes. Edward received 520 votes. At this stage, nobody received the required quota, and therefore Sheldon was excluded and any transferable votes were redistributed. In the fourth and final stage, the votes were as follows. Taylor received 361 votes, and Edward received 535 votes. And therefore, Edward received the highest number of votes and is duly elected as president for 2023 to 24.
Congratulations.
So I was meant to chop this pint tonight. I'm making a decision not to because it's going to end on the stage being in a very bad way. It's not a good idea at all. I just want to thank some people. Thank Jamie Matthews, campaign manager. He's been very, very good. I wanted to thank Maram Shahab. She's been amazing. Great campaign manager. And also Oliver Richards. He's done a very good job. Done a brilliant job. And Joe Winkles, he's a doppelganger. He's a much better looking version of me. I absolutely love the man. He's watching right now, and I just want to shout him out. It's about representing the students, and I think that there's a new horizon. It's going to be some good fun going ahead. I don't know what to do now. We'll see what happens. Should I down Snakebite? Should I down on stage? Okay, I'm going to. Thank you very much.
Well, we want to say a huge congratulations to all the candidates who were elected and those who were not as well. You've all done incredibly well, and thank you for coming up on stage and doing your speeches, and also thank you for just being here. This is something we'll always remember, and you know, campaigning at the end of the day gives you a great set of skills, a great set of sort of resilience, and public speaking, as well as many other skills. So there's always opportunities to get involved in RUSU. There will always be another election. So if you're a Part 1, Part 2 student, or you do a Master's or whatever, you can always come back. And yeah, I guess just a very good thank you and a very big thank you to all the candidates and all their campaign teams and everybody who endorsed candidates and made this happen. You've all done a very, very good job, and I think you deserve a round of applause. So, oh no, before we go back to things, oh yeah, I think we are spinning the wheel one more time. Yeah, we're gonna spin the wheel one more time, just before we invite people to come on. Yeah. You can only win once. 2. That's 2-1 already.
Who's 2?
They've already won. Yeah, they've always won 3 times actually. 11, you win. So, with that in hand, thank you very much. Candidates, please, and our full-time officer team-elect, please come to the stage. We'd like to take some pictures. Yeah. So, Shania, Ishar, Edward, you're just taking a picture. Yes. Sophie, come forth. And Jem McKenzie? Okay. Well, that's not... Sure thing. Yeah, your chips. Very well done. That was an impressive steak part.
I mean, I'm going to end up in the loo. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. I think I'm very...
Jem, if you're somewhere in the room, can you come for a photo, please? Oh, you're there. It's Sheldon.
Thank you.